I'm the one split the $500,000. I did that. I'm the only that got the same necklace that Floyd Mayweather got.
World's most expensive grill, man. Sauce Walker, Plug Geo, you did.
I'm finna take out the Johnny Danes and put in the Geos. I'm sorry.
Rappers are losing it fast over wild claims that Johnny Dang sold them fake jewelry. And now everything is blowing up in court. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share, because this story just keeps getting crazier. What started with one artist quietly switching jewelers has now turned into a full-on controversy shaking the whole scene. Now reputations are on the line, and this intense case is pulling back the curtain on a side of the jewelry game most people never see. From coming up with nothing to becoming the so-called king of bling, this story is packed with drama and serious questions. Johnny Dang did not begin as a jeweler at all. He came to the United States from Vietnam with nothing, his words, and built his first hustle selling televisions, radios, and candy out of a small Houston shop. People around the city knew him as TV Johnny long before that flashy title ever came into play, and he was moving product non-stop like a true street businessman. He stayed grinding every single day, flipping one sale into the next and building momentum step by step. That grind pushed him into the jewelry world, especially grills, those diamond-covered dental pieces that became a major symbol in hip-hop culture. His shop, Johnny Dang & Co., quickly turned into a hotspot where some of the biggest names in music came through looking to shine. Lil Wayne, Drake, Beyonce, Travis Scott, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Cardi B, Floyd Mayweather. The lineup sounds like straight-up pop culture royalty over the last 20 years. By the time Johnny Dang's name was locked in at the top, artists were flying in from all over the country, some even pulling up on private jets just to sit face-to-face with him and describe their dream pieces. His team would map everything out using 3D design, then get to work setting every single stone by hand with crazy attention to detail. Clients would walk out wearing pieces nobody else on earth had, shining different the second they stepped outside. Prices? They started in the thousands and shot way past $500,000 for a single custom item, turning jewelry into a serious status symbol. His brand got so tied into hip-hop culture that his pieces showed up everywhere. Music videos, huge stage performances, and all over social media feeds. If an artist wanted to prove they made it, rocking his jewelry became part of the image. Sauce Walker was right in that mix. Born Albert Walker Mundane on June 29, 1990, he came up in Houston after starting his rap journey back in 2007. He built himself from the ground up, running his own label, The Sauce Factory, and crafting an image centered around flashy jewelry, big money, and street reputation. He even claims he helped push the word drip into mainstream hip-hop slang before it took over an entire generation's vocabulary. Sauce Walker was not just some casual customer walking in and out. He was one of Johnny Dang's most loyal, long-term, and highest-spending clients straight out of Houston. According to him, this relationship goes way back, even before the diamonds. Back when Johnny was still known as TV Johnny, moving goods out of his shop and building his name from the ground up. In clips that spread fast across TikTok and Instagram, Sauce broke it down in his own words. He explained that he knew Johnny from way earlier days when people in their circle were breaking into cars, taking radios, and bringing them to Johnny to trade for gold grills and earrings. That is how deep it runs, way before the fame, way before the big money, when everything was still raw and street level. As the years passed and both of them leveled up, the relationship grew into something much bigger. Sauce kept spending heavy, and Johnny kept delivering bold, eye-catching pieces that stood out every single time. Every move they made started hitting social media, with captions showing off the lifestyle and making it clear this was more than business. It was a statement. One of the biggest moments between them was a massive $500,000 Cuban chain. The deal was so serious it reportedly went down inside a Chase Bank branch instead of a normal payment setup. Johnny's team even posted about it, calling it a monster piece. And the whole situation had people talking everywhere. Sauce wore it like a badge of loyalty, showing he had been locked in with Johnny from the very beginning and was still spending at a level most people could not even touch. This was not regular shopping. This was big money moves, with some visits hitting $300,000 in a single stop. We are talking VVS earrings, custom rings, full grill sets, and pieces designed to match the kind of shine Floyd Mayweather was known for. Sauce even put a number on it himself, saying he dropped somewhere around $500,000 total over time. And Johnny made sure that loyalty did not go unnoticed, constantly posting the purchases, putting Sauce in the spotlight as a major client, and turning every deal into a win for both of their names across Houston. For years, this partnership ran smooth and strong. It felt like its own world. A rapper and a jeweler coming up from the same city, building together and showing everyone how Houston operated on its own level. But then something changed between 2024 and 2026, and the energy shifted in a serious way. Sauce Walker started looking for something bigger, a more advanced grill. Something that would not just level him up, but reset the standard for the entire state of Texas. He was ready to spend more than ever before, pushing past any number he had dropped in the past. But instead of going back to Johnny Dang, he made a move nobody expected. He went somewhere else completely. He linked up with a man named Jose J. Mata, known in the jewelry world as Plug Geo, and this was not some random choice. Plug Geo already had history with Johnny Circle. He used to be connected to the shop before breaking off and building his own competing business right there in Houston. So when Sauce Walker walked through Plug Geo's door instead of Johnny's, it was not just business, it was a loud statement that everybody understood instantly. That one decision kicked off tension that spread fast. The second Sauce made the switch public. The internet lit up like crazy. This was not low-key at all. He did not just post a quick photo and move on. He turned it into a full moment, planned out, recorded, and built for maximum attention. In a clip that started going viral everywhere, Sauce Walker sat down on camera and actually removed his Johnny Dang grills right out of his mouth in front of everyone watching. Then he set them aside and put in the brand new set made by Plug Geo, all while talking through it like he knew exactly how people would react. It felt calculated, bold, and impossible to ignore, like he was making sure the whole world understood that something serious had just changed.
I'm gonna take out the Johnny Dang and put in the Geos. I'm sorry. I'm taking out these and I'm upgrading to these.
That single line, "I'm sorry," did not feel like an apology at all. It hit more like a final stamp on a decision that was already locked in, delivered with the calm energy of someone who had no regrets about what he was doing.
I'm taking out these and I'm upgrading to these.
The word upgrading was what really stood out. That was not just switching jewelers, that was ranking them, putting one above the other in front of everybody watching. It came off like a bold statement that what Plug Geo created was on a whole different level than anything Johnny Dang had ever made for him.
Nothing. We went from 100,000 to 1 million. You know what I'm saying?
The new grill from Plug Geo was being called the world's first permanent $1 million grill. It had massive 3-carat and 1-carat diamonds set in rose gold, designed to stay in place for good. Not something you take out, not something temporary, but something meant to be part of him long term. And the price made it even louder. According to Sauce himself, this new piece cost more than 10 times what his previous grill did. That is not just an upgrade. That is a complete jump into another level entirely.
We setting the bar standard in the state of Texas so high that it cannot be beaten. Welcome to Texas.
This was bigger than jewelry. He was changing the expectations for the entire Texas scene, and he made sure to do it in a way that kept Johnny Dang tied to the past chapter while he stepped into a new one. But the switch was only part of the story. What really pushed this into full scandal territory was what Sauce said next, and it hit hard. He accused Johnny Dang of selling lab-grown diamonds, specifically CVD stones made in a lab through a chemical vapor process, while allegedly presenting them to clients as natural mined diamonds. He did not frame this like a small mix-up or some technical detail either. He spoke on it like it was a straight betrayal, the kind that cuts deeper when it involves someone you trusted for years and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with. That claim dropped right into an ongoing debate that had already been heating up inside the jewelry world. Here is where things get serious. Lab-grown diamonds are chemically identical to natural ones. Same hardness, same carbon structure, same shine when the light hits them. But the difference shows up in the price. Big time. A 1-carat natural diamond can cost thousands, while a lab-grown version of that same size might only run a few hundred. And in a market where people are paying top dollar for the status and rarity of natural stones, that difference is not small at all. It is everything. If someone is paying premium prices expecting natural diamonds but getting lab-grown without clear disclosure, that becomes a whole different issue. Sauce Walker's accusation did not just call someone out. It planted a serious question in people's minds and had everyone looking at their jewelry a little differently. And because this was Sauce Walker, a Houston name with years of history tied to Johnny Dang's brand, the accusation hit way harder than any random internet rumor ever could. This was not coming from an outsider. This was someone who had been publicly connected to the brand for a long time, and people paid attention instantly. Then Plug Geo stepped in and backed him up, making things even louder. Jose Plug Geo Mata aligned himself with Sauce Walker and started telling his own side. framing his exit from Johnny Dang's circle as a situation where he was underpaid despite helping bring in major money for the business. He also claimed that lab-grown stones were being sold as natural, even mentioning certifications, which added a whole new layer to the situation. And now it was not just a customer speaking. It sounded like someone from inside the operation confirming the same concerns. That combination made everything feel more serious and harder to ignore. With Sauce's public influence, Plug Geo's insider angle, and the already heated debate around diamond types, the story exploded across the internet fast. YouTube started filling up with titles like "Rappers Expose Johnny Dang" and "Rappers Go Off on Johnny Dang," pulling in views and spreading the narrative even further. Social media took it even further, with posts claiming Johnny's Houston store had been raided and that everything was falling apart. Some people even said he had been arrested, while others claimed his entire empire was collapsing. The story moved so fast that facts and rumors started mixing together, and not everything being said was actually true. Sauce was not backing down at all. He was doubling down and making sure everybody understood this was not some small complaint from a random client. He made it clear he believed he had spent at a level comparable to Floyd Mayweather and still felt like he got played, which made the situation hit even harder. The message behind that was sharp.
How many rappers you put this chain on and they walked out this hole? Not with it though. Exactly. I see you put it on a lot of rappers. You tried to make a lot of people buy it, and then they took it.
It suggested that Johnny Dang's long list of celebrity clients might not be as solid as it looked on the surface, and that some of those relationships did not end on good terms. It also hinted that what Sauce was saying publicly might be things others had only been saying behind closed doors. Whether that claim was fully true or not, it gave the story even more momentum. And at that point, it was too big to ignore. Johnny Dang had to respond. And when he finally did not jump straight into breaking down the fraud accusations. Instead, he took it somewhere more personal. The videos he posted on Instagram came off raw and unfiltered, not like a carefully planned PR response, but like someone speaking straight from emotion. You could tell he felt the situation deeply, and he chose to address it directly on camera without anything scripted getting in the way.
Sauce, how long we know each other, man? Over some 20 years.
That opening line set the tone instantly. He did not start with a denial or bring up legal talk. He went straight to the relationship, the history, the 20 years of doing business together. To him, that bond had just been put on blast and disrespected in front of the entire internet. He focused on the foundation of it all, making it clear this was never about favors or handouts. This was real business, real money, and mutual respect on both sides. By saying that, he was also pushing back hard against any idea that Sauce had been overcharged or treated unfairly.
I never gave you for free, and I never asked for free, you know? I'm happy you shop with me.
From Johnny's perspective, everything had always been solid and straightforward. He pointed out that Sauce had worked with other jewelers in different cities before.
You buy jewelry everywhere in LA with my boy Cat in New York. It's all good, it's all love. Everyone needs to make money.
And it was never a problem back then. So why make it one now? To him, the real issue was not Sauce switching jewelers at all. It was the way it was done, the name dropping, the public rollout, and how his name got tied into the move in a way that made it seem like he had failed, misled, or delivered something less than top quality.
It's no problem. I know you just spend money for the grill. It's all good, but don't disrespect my name, bro. Can you do that? Don't do that.
That was the core of his response every time. He did not lead with, "These claims are false," or start showing paperwork or lawyers. The message stayed simple and direct the whole time. Put some respect on my name. Johnny bringing up his Vietnam origin story was not random at all. It was intentional.
I've been busman for over 20 years since I came here from Vietnam, from nothing.
He was reminding everyone of the full journey, how he came to America with nothing, selling TVs and candy, then slowly building his way into the jewelry world and turning himself into a name known across the culture. He built a business that ended up putting diamonds on some of the biggest artists on the planet. And now, after all those years, someone he had known for 2 decades was standing on camera, using his name in a way that made it seem like he had been selling fake pieces.
I'm not perfect. I've been busting my every day for years. Working hard, playing hard, but I didn't respect nobody.
That moment where he said, "I'm not perfect," stood out more than people expected. He was not trying to act flawless or above mistakes. He was saying he always moved with honesty and integrity, even if everything was not always perfect along the way. Then he made a move that hit in a quieter but powerful way. Johnny posted a video showing the grill that Sauce Walker was originally supposed to get from him.
I even called you to ask you, hey, let's go together for the dinner. And I even asked you this kind about joining my nail salon so we can make money together.
No yelling, no dramatic energy, just straight visuals. He showed the design, the diamonds, the craftsmanship, and let people come to their own conclusions. The message did not need to be loud. It was clear just from looking at it.
I special design, very, very special. Make sure it precise, good side of the diamond, smooth, so it not be too heavy, too chunky, so you going to wear it for another years without messing your mouth.
This is what was ready for you. This is what you chose to leave behind. He said he had already tried to fix things behind the scenes before any of this went public. There were private dinners, real conversations, even talks of working together again. But according to Johnny, Sauce chose the camera over handling it face to face. And that choice changed everything. When Johnny started breaking down the grill design, it became its own kind of defense.
And for free, nothing but love, man. You one of the few rappers I've been knowing for over 20 years.
He was not even focused on lab-grown versus natural at that moment. He was talking about craftsmanship, the details that most people do not even think about.
Nothing but love. I know, man. Some internet, when they hear some free stuff and think, oh, you're going to do the moistenized CVDs.
The sizing had to be exact, the weight had to be balanced, and the way it sat in the mouth had to be safe long-term. This was him explaining the standards he held himself to, even for someone who had now walked away from him.
Y'all guys talking to another jeweler all day long. Like I say, I always support Houston families, the community, the city where I started from the bottom.
It showed how seriously he took the work, beyond just the shine and price tags. He even said he made a new grill for Sauce for free as a peace move, trying to smooth things over, and somehow that still was not enough. That part alone added another layer to the situation. Then came his direct response to the CVD accusations. No documents, no expert breakdowns, just a straight denial with clear frustration behind it. To him, the claim was not something to debate. It was something he completely rejected.
It's all good. You can shop around the world. You know, you don't need to put my name in there. But if you mention my name, put some respect on my name.
And the way he shifted right after that, back to talking about community and where he came from, that felt intentional, like he wanted to remind people what he stood on at the core. He was flipping the whole narrative around on purpose. Instead of letting it stay focused on accusations and controversy, he pushed it back toward his story, a Houston figure who built everything from nothing and still stayed connected to the city. That shift was not random, it was strategic, and it landed exactly how he wanted. That line, "Put some respect on my name," became the center of everything. It was the part people clipped, reposted, and kept repeating because it hit deeper than just jewelry talk. This was about legacy, about what 2 decades of work really meant, and what it feels like to have your name tied to something you strongly deny. But while all of that was happening, something even more chaotic started building in the background. A second wave of content came in, and this time it was not even based on real events. As reported by Fox 26 Houston in April 2026, Johnny Dang had to deal with a surge of hyper-realistic AI deepfake videos spreading across YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. These were not obvious edits or jokes. They looked real enough to trick people who were already watching the situation closely. The timing made it worse. With the drama already heating up, people were more likely to believe anything new that popped up. Some of these fake clips pushed wild claims, including stories that his Houston flagship store had been raided by authorities. The videos were designed to look believable, and they spread fast, pulling more people into confusion and making an already intense situation even harder to separate from fiction. Some of those videos went even further, claiming he had been arrested. Others started talking about federal fraud investigations, using language that sounded like it came straight out of real news reports. Headlines like "Johnny Dang's Houston store raided" and "Johnny Dang arrested for selling rappers fake jewelry" were spreading fast and grabbing attention everywhere. And the speed it moved at was no accident. This kind of viral spread only happens when people are already watching closely and feel like the story could actually be true. In this situation, Sauce Walker's public accusations had already set the stage, creating just enough tension for these fake stories to feel believable, even when they were not based on real facts. Johnny Dang did not stay quiet about it either. He pushed back hard, calling the raid and arrest claims fake and shutting them down directly in his own posts and videos. He also called out people spreading the rumors and told his audience not to trust anything that did not come from a real source. He made it clear, no official reports, no police statements, no confirmed investigations, nothing solid behind those claims at all. His team even worked to flag misleading content and tried to get those videos taken down before they spread further. And here is what really matters. No major news outlet confirmed any raid, any arrest, or any active fraud case. No police department released statements, no court records showed anything, and no credible Houston news source reported those claims as real. The only thing being reported by legitimate outlets was the online drama itself, not the fake stories trying to build on top of it. What Fox 26 actually reported tells a completely different story. The real headline was not that Johnny Dang got raided, it was that he became a target of AI-generated deepfake misinformation. That is a huge difference. But it did not spread the same way because it was not as dramatic as the fake versions people were already locked into. The truth did not hit as hard as the rumor. People had already been pulled in by the controversy and were expecting some explosive outcome. So the fake stories moved faster and reached further than the reality ever could. And that says something bigger about how hip-hop and social media are colliding right now. The jump from a real situation, Sauce Walker switching grills, to wild claims like Johnny Dang arrested or store raided happened in just days. That pipeline is faster than ever, and it does not rely on facts to keep moving. The engine behind it was not journalism and not even traditional gossip. It was AI-generated content made to look real, dropped right into an already heated situation, and then boosted by algorithms chasing views and watch time. But underneath all the noise, there is a deeper conversation that has been around way before this drama and will still be around long after it fades. The debate over natural versus lab-grown diamonds is at the center of it all. Lab-grown diamonds are not fake in a scientific sense at all. They are real diamonds. Same structure, same look, same durability when tested. The only real difference is how they are made. One comes from deep in the earth with huge cost and effort, and the other is created in a controlled lab for a much lower price. And that gap is where all the tension starts. A natural 1-carat diamond can run around $4,000 or $5,000. While a lab-grown 1-carat diamond might only cost a few hundred on the open market. That price gap is massive, and it has completely changed how people shop for jewelry. Lab-grown diamonds have been a real disruption, giving buyers access to bigger stones with higher clarity at way more affordable prices. On top of that, some people are drawn to them because of concerns around mining, which adds another layer to why they are becoming popular. But in hip-hop jewelry culture, the mindset is totally different. It is not just about how a diamond looks, it is about what it costs, how hard it was to get, and what it says about the person wearing it. Two diamonds might look identical under a microscope, but if one costs $4,000 and the other costs $400, they do not carry the same weight socially. That difference matters in a culture built around status and visibility. The price tag itself becomes part of the statement, not just the shine. In a real 2025 interview with KHOU Houston, Johnny Dang even spoke on this directly. He explained that many rapper clients specifically ask for natural diamonds and see lab-grown stones as lower status, even if they are technically the same in structure. His business reflects that reality too. His website highlights GIA-certified natural diamonds for high-end pieces, while still offering lab-grown options at more accessible price points. So the issue Sauce Walker raised was not just about whether lab-grown diamonds are good or bad, it pointed at something deeper in the culture and how value is defined. The real claim was not just about preference, it was much more serious than that. The accusation was that natural diamond prices were being charged for lab-grown stones without the buyer knowing. And if that were proven true, that crosses out of opinion and straight into potential fraud territory. But as of early April 2026, there has been no verified proof to lock that claim in. No certified gemologist has come forward with confirmed test results on Sauce Walker's pieces. No independent analysis has been publicly released, and no legal case has been filed between Sauce and Johnny. Everything is played out online, mostly through social media and viral clips. If you go back even further, there have been small conversations in places like Reddit over the years, where people questioned Johnny Dang's stone quality. But those were always just opinions, personal experiences, or competitors throwing shade, nothing backed by hard evidence. Some of those discussions mentioned things like smaller diamonds and detailed pieces or pricing concerns, but again, none of it ever turned into verified findings or legal action. What changed in 2026 was the scale. Those old whispers got turned all the way up using Sauce Walker's name, Plug Geo's insider claims, and a wave of AI-generated content that made everything feel bigger and more confirmed than it actually was. That combination made the story look solid to casual viewers, even though the actual evidence never fully matched the intensity of the claims. So where does that leave everything? The big question being asked is simple and direct. Did rappers actually confront Johnny Dang in court over fake jewelry? And the honest answer, after breaking down everything that is actually documented and verifiable, is that the truth is both simpler and more complicated than a courtroom showdown. What really happened was a very public clash between a Houston rapper and a major jeweler, built on a long history, real money, real tension, and real disagreement over what was delivered. Sauce Walker did go to a competing jeweler, dropped around $1 million on a new grill, and used Johnny Dang's name while presenting that upgrade on camera. That part is real, and it is what sparked everything that followed. The fallout from that moment was also real, and it is still not fully resolved. There are strong opinions on both sides, and the tension between them has not completely cooled off. What was not real, though, was the extra layer of chaos created by AI-generated content and social media amplification. That part took things way beyond the facts and pushed the story into territory that never actually happened. There was no store raid, no arrest, and no court case filed. Fox 26 Houston reported on the spread of deepfake misinformation, not any kind of police action. So when people talk about court in this situation, it was not a legal courtroom at all. It was the court of public opinion, and that is a powerful space on the internet. But it is not the same as an actual criminal case or civil lawsuit, no matter how real it might feel while everything is going viral. The idea that multiple rappers came forward all at once to confront Johnny Dang, filing complaints, testing their jewelry, and backing up fraud claims on a large scale, that simply did not happen in any verified or documented way. Sauce Walker was the central figure in this entire situation, and Plug Geo supported him with his own perspective as a former insider. But beyond that, most of the other names seen in viral thumbnails were not independent accusers. A lot of that content was made up of reactions, commentary, or clips tied back to the Sauce Walker situation, not separate claims. Meanwhile, several major artists who have long-standing relationships with Johnny Dang have not publicly accused him of anything during this wave. Lil Wayne has still been seen wearing Johnny Dang jewelry. Drake has not made any public statements about the situation, and others like Travis Scott, Cardi B, and Gucci Mane have not come forward with verified accusations either. When you strip everything back, past the viral posts, the dramatic headlines, and the AI-generated content, what you are left with is something much more personal. This is really about what happens when a long-term business relationship breaks down in public view. In a space like hip-hop, where loyalty, money, and pride are all deeply connected, situations like this hit harder and spread faster. On one side, Sauce Walker clearly felt like he did not receive what he paid for after years of spending and building that connection. On the other side, Johnny Dang felt like someone he had known for a long time publicly disrespected both him and everything he worked to build. By putting Johnny Dang's name into that public moment, that big on-camera flex, it turned a private issue into something way bigger. And the reality is, both sides can feel how they feel at the same time. That is what makes this situation so complicated. At the same time, the debate over lab-grown versus natural diamonds is very real, and it is not slowing down anytime soon. The jewelry industry is shifting fast. Lab-grown stones are improving in quality and dropping in price every year, and that gap between natural and lab-grown is only getting wider. In a culture where the value of a piece is tied not just to how it looks, but how much it costs, that gap creates tension. It affects how jewelers sell, how artists buy, and how audiences judge what they see. But here is the key point that cannot be ignored. Claims of fraud are serious, and they require more than just accusations or viral moments. They need real proof, verified testing, legal action, and credible third-party confirmation before they can be treated as fact. And as of early April 2026, none of that proof exists in this situation. What we actually have is Sauce Walker's claims on Instagram, Plug Geo's allegations from a competitor's angle, and a massive wave of AI-generated content trying to make it all look bigger than it really is. Meanwhile, Johnny Dang is still active and moving like nothing stopped. His shop is open, his social media is still posting, and he is continuing to drop new custom pieces while responding to critics with that same mix of pride and frustration he has carried since his early days selling TVs out of a small Houston shop. This whole story is wild, and it shows how fast things can spiral when real conflict, social media, and AI all collide at once. If you found this breakdown interesting or surprising, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. so you do not miss what comes next. There are more stories just like this popping up, and you will want to stay locked in for all of it.